but in India somehow it's really amazing. So we have a mission, Prabhupada, he wanted especially to focus on students. When the Buddhists started university preaching, Prabhupada was very, very happy. And so, it's a very simple process. Simple meaning, it's not that it's easy, but it's not complicated. It's a straight line, to Krishna. If we take the process of bhakti, like Prabhupada gave us, then whatever obstacles are removed. If we depend on Krishna, Prabhupada said, I can kick out all the obstacles. It's not a complicated thing. I don't know if it goes anywhere. I used to think in India that bhakti that's for children and grandmothers. Yes, my grandmother told me these stories about Krishna, but now, when I do some complicated process of meditation or some confusing, this and that. But it's very simple. Chant Hare Krishna. Follow the full, if we want to get the full benefit of chanting, then we have to follow the regular principles. And then the more we take up doing some service, the more benefit we get, the more we appreciate the chanting. Because Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. It means, Prabhupada gave the translation, my dear Lord, my dear energy of Lord, please engage me in your service. There's other esoteric translations, which are all true, but this is the basic, ultimate understanding. We should be crying out, please engage me in your service. We had one friend in Nigeria, he was a Roman Catholic priest, Father Stan, and he was very progressive. He was not popular with the mainstream church because he was teaching people to think out of the box, and he liked Hare Krishna very much. When we had kirtan with his students, he would Hare Krishna, and he would sing Hallelujah, Hallelujah. And it's kind of the same. Hallelujah is a Hebrew Sampradaya, trying to create him Krishna for service. Their own skill set. Everyone has their own. But you don't have to be that. You don't have to change. It's for everyone. The Mahamantra is for everyone. You don't have to be a Brahmana. In Lord Chaitanya's time, the Brahmanas thought that they had the exclusive right to chant the name of God. And they were criticizing Nimai because he was asking everyone to chant. And they said if these low-class people, and in Bengal at that time, and even later, it was like, if you weren't born Brahmin, everyone else was a Shudra. And they thought that the holy name would become contaminated. So they didn't even know the basic Ishopanishad, Saparigas Chukram, Kayamadanam, Ashnagaram, Shudam, Apapavidam, Kabirmanishi, Paribhusamayur, Yatoyatas Tasvatibya, Samadhiha. That the holy name is It's antiseptic and prophylactic. You know those words? Everybody knows antiseptic. It kills germs. It cleans things. It's antiseptic. Septic means toxic poison. You have a septic tank. That's where all the sewage goes. And then you have to empty it sometimes. Right? I've seen sometimes in Japan, the truck, they empty that tank. And then they go in the farm and they spray it. But if you happen to drive by it, it's really much. But antiseptic, because if you get an infection, you put antiseptic, and it kills all the germs. Prophylactic means it prevents, protects you from infection. So the holy name, Krishna, is antiseptic. He purifies anything he comes in contact with, and he protects from contamination. So you have to hang on to the beads and chant no matter what. One devotee tells how he was with my godmother Jayananda. Jayananda was very famous as the most humble devotee. And so this devotee, when he was very new, he was doing some service with him, and he said, you know, you have to be attached to the holy name. Because if things get bad, if there's trouble, it's just all you have is the holy name. That devotee said at that time, because he just joined, he couldn't imagine that anything could be bad, anything could go wrong. Everything was so ecstatic. But you need to be attached to the holy name. Because in our world, we never know what's going to happen next. With their own mind, their own body, with the outside world, with the weather, we have no idea. And the only thing that's permanent is Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So it's very good to see. And I said this morning on Prabhupada, that's how Hare Krishna will take over the world. Just by more and more people chanting, more and more places. The vibration is antiseptic. Now the gross world is totally polluted. The air is polluted. Delhi is still the world's champion. For those who are constantly endeavoring and trying to serve me, I dwelling within the heart, give knowledge that you can come to Krishna. Krishna's promising. I hope it's because it's not because they're not reading and see how many times Prabhupada says, nobody is perfect if you're just trying to serve. Be perfect at serving. But whatever you have, if you're very rich, then you should give money. But you don't have to have money to serve Krishna. You can give your time, you can give your thoughts, you can give your energy, so many different ways. Krishna is the Supreme Person. So, I don't know. It's best to take questions, I think, because otherwise we can go on. Now Janmashtami is coming, so we should be remembering Krishna's pastimes. We have the Krishna book, so much is there. And there's many other books, even by the Goswamis. I was just reading one by Rupa Goswami. It's a very small book, it's like 18 verses or something. Some of the verses are very long. They call it one verse, but if it was in the Bhagavatam, we'd call it 6 or 7. But it's just listing off with prayer all of Krishna's pastimes from birth to concept. This is an easy start of Rasika Bhakti. Sanatana Goswami Bhakti Vinod wrote all these songs, and just Krishna's names, Krishna's pastimes. These are the great scholars of the history. So we want to meditate on that. It's the highest meditation, just Krishna's pastimes, Krishna Lila. It's the simplest. But the more we hear it, the more we talk about it, and the more we distribute it, the more we can associate with Krishna. This is the idea to associate with Krishna. He's giving himself. He kindly came, and Prabhupada also came, and lived very intimately with devotees. I was saying this morning how he lived in New York, first by himself, very austere. Then when he lived with devotees, sometimes he was with 4 or 5 devotees, and they're all sharing the same bathroom. Prabhupada waiting in line, He lived very, so he allowed him his association, so many people could witness how, like when Arjuna asked how it is, and Krishna says, Prabhupada did all those things. He lived the exact life of the self-realized soul. And I want to see Krishna. So he let it be recorded. We don't have that many videos because there wasn't that kind of technology. One time in LA, one devotee's father worked in television. So they were going to film Prabhupada. They brought in this huge television camera, it used to be like really big. And they set it up with big lights and everything, big cables across the temple room. If you see it, Prabhupada, the lights were so bright, and he just said, take it out. So we don't have any, good movies. Enough. And we had the books, and we had the voice. So take advantage of it, and you can learn how to be with Krishna. So, thank you. I see one of the big points they have is for addiction. They have a program in America and a few other countries called Bhakti Recovery. Have you heard of that? So one Mataji, she says, I was very lucky. I had a totally hellish heroin addiction for many years. And then somehow she got out of it. And so she started this Bhakti Recovery. It's based on the Alcoholics Anonymous, 12 steps. And so these devotees, the wisdom of the sages, it's this Raghunath from the shelter band and another devotee. And their program was expanded. And so they announce the schedule for the day. And they have 2 or 3 Bhakti recovery groups like every day. And so many people want to be devotees, but they have these addictions. But, it's helping a lot of people. And we want to be addicted, but to Krishna. Prabhupada was very intelligent. When he was living at the house of John Lennon, the Beatle. And John Lennon asked Prabhupada, how do you know who is a good devotee? And Prabhupada said, who's the most addicted to Krishna? And Shyama said he didn't understand why Prabhupada said addicted. But then he saw who was visiting their house, because he had this Japanese wife, and so that the people who were coming, you wouldn't know their names. They were very famous drug addicts, authors, you know. And then he understood, and then Prabhupada said, we have to get out of here. You can't stay here anymore. Because he became addicted also. But Prabhupada, and so there's John Lennon, he wrote a song about drug addiction. And when they give up the drug, it's very hellish, you know, for a couple of days. So this song is like really suffering. So he said to Prabhupada, I want to play my new song for you. And he went in his studio and he had all the big equipment, you know, and it wouldn't work. The whole machine wouldn't play its song. So Prabhupada said, well, I have one, we just made a recording also. And he had a small recording, and he, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. But Prabhupada knew he was addicted, so he used that word, because he understood what is addiction. You can't live without it. You do anything to get it. So that's how we're supposed to be. When Prabhupada saw these drunken men in the room, he said, we should be like that for Krishna. Not for wine, but for Krishna. So people are like that for John Maya, Vaishvaya, for money, for prestige, to do anything. The devotee can do anything just for the opportunity to be with devotees and chant holy name. So Prabhupada, he was all alone, nobody ever heard of Krishna. But he wanted so much to have association that he inspired many people to become devotees. So he could have association with devotees. And it's still going on. Now, especially in India. It's really amazing. Now we're hoping all the Indians will go to the rest of the world and give them the holy name. All right, so let me just have questions. Anybody has questions?
So I think we have questions. आप में से कितने लोग को
प्रश्न
ट्रांसलेशन चाहिए या समझ में आ रहा है?
प्रश्न
तो पीछे किशोर मोहन को है वो हेल्प कर देंगे हिंदी में और सबको समझ में आ रहा है किनको हिंदी में चाहिए ट्रांसलेशन ओके सो महाराज जी you will ask question and when you answer I can take translation.
All right, because now you said everybody understands English. Okay, that's all right. Whatever.
You are there.
Huh?
You are there.
All right, go for it.
Yes. Milan,
मेरा प्रश्न था कि प्रभुपाद जी बहुत सारा emphasize कर रहे हैं. So Prabhupada ji emphasizes on do not have to see Krishna serve in a way that Krishna will come to see me. But what if I cannot even serve in a way that Krishna will come to see me? I desire to see, but I cannot serve in a way.
I didn't hear any words. Yeah. Well, keep trying. How do you know? Krishna appreciates the effort. not exactly what you do, but then you try to do it. If you're trying, then Krishna notices that. It's like if you go in a company, you read stories about someone who's now the CEO of some huge company, but he started out as a delivery boy or a janitor or something. And he worked really hard, and he came early and he stayed late. So somebody notices that. And the boss doesn't notice it, the local manager, and then he tells somebody, and he gets promoted eventually.
महाराज जी बता रहे हैं कि मिलनपुर ने पूछा कि कैसे हम जानेंगे कि मैं कृष्ण की सेवा नहीं कर पा रहा, तो महाराज बोल रहे हैं कि आप नहीं जानते हैं लेकिन कृष्ण जानते हैं। हमें भी नहीं पता कि हम भगवान को प्रसन्न कर पा रहे हैं, लेकिन भगवान जानते हैं। जैसे कंपनी में हम काम करते हैं तो बॉस को पता होता है कि हम क्या काम कर रहे हैं, कलीग्स को हो सकता है ना पता हो कि क्या काम कर रहे हैं, लेकिन बॉस को पता होता है कि आप क्या कर रहे हैं और वो उसके बेसिस पे हमें प्रमोशन देते हैं। तो हमें केवल प्रयास करते रहते हैं। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन।
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj ji, you said that in other countries there are not so many youth engaged in Krishna consciousness, and like in India, youths are growing in Krishna consciousness. So, what was Prabhupada's view for youth? Like what Prabhupada desire? That, what should youth of this today behave in Krishna consciousness?
Reason, Prabhupada's reason for youth.
Well, you're not going to be here forever. He wanted, of course, when Prabhupada first started preaching in America, it was only youth that cared. Nobody else paid attention.
प्रभुपाद जी जब अमेरिका में प्रीच कर रहे थे तो केवल यूथ ही थे।
But for everybody, he just wanted everyone to surrender to Krishna.
प्रभुपाद जी चाहते थे कि सब कृष्ण को शरणागत लें,
To give up lusty madness and try to please Krishna.
और प्रयास करें कृष्ण को प्रसन्न करने का।
Nowadays, I was talking to some preachers from Kazakhstan and Russia. They said, practically they have to go to the junior high school now. Even the university students are so corrupted and degraded, So they're trying to deal with, having like elementary schools, right?
तो महाराज जी कुछ प्रचारक से बात कर रहे थे कजाकिस्तान और कुछ एरिया में, तो वहाँ पर प्रीचर्स का कहना है कि हम तो स्कूल लेवल पर जा रहे हैं प्रचार करने, क्योंकि यूनिवर्सिटी लेवल तक में तो स्टूडेंट बहुत करप्ट हो जा रहे हैं।
But India somehow, you have all these youths are somewhat different. It's Krishna's land, so we're getting many, and we just want them all to chant Hare Krishna and give up, and do whatever you can to preach.
तो इंडिया में स्थिति इस प्रकार की है कि यूथ यूनिवर्सिटी में ले रहे हैं, थोड़ा स्थिति अच्छा है और हमें इसका मौका उठाना चाहिए और ज़्यादा प्रचार करना चाहिए।
Preach is not a good word to share.
प्रीच इज नॉट अ प्रीच जो है एक अच्छा शब्द नहीं है, उससे अच्छा है शेयर करना।
In the world, when you say preach, they think you're going to burn, you're going to go to hell.
अगर हम प्रचार का मतलब प्रचार जब बोलते हैं तो लगता है कि किसी को हमें फोर्स करना है, कुछ तोड़ना